Necessity is the mother of invention is a well-known proverb. And the need is precisely what Marion Massot spotted when she joined PwC Luxembourg as a UX designer. She then talked to Sylvain Legac, senior UX designer at the firm, about creating a space that could act like a user experience toolbox, and more. And that was the start of what came to become our vibrant UX community. But that's all I will share with you for now. If you want to know the whole story, then keep listening to this episode of TechTalk. Armin and I talked to Veronika Ondrikova, Senior UX Designer, and Yasmine Meziane, Senior Digital Communications Officer at PwC Luxembourg, who've been members of our UX community since its early steps. They tell us the story of why they did it, how they are doing it, and why they consider it important for businesses to host thematic communities. So, let's jump right into it. Welcome to a new episode of Tech Talk. This is episode 18, season 5, the one on building a UX community. Hi Armin, how are you?
Great as always. What about you?
I'm good as well. It's sunny outside, so I can't complain. Plus we had a long weekend, so good, all good.
Two of your favorite things. Plus the chocolate, right?
Well, yes, the chocolate is very important. So we have two special guests with us today. Would you like to introduce them, Armin?
Yes, of course. Two of the guests that we have on the podcast today are also a longtime friends of mine. So first we have Veronika Ondrikova. She's a senior UX designer within PwC's advisory, and she is really passionate about service design and innovation. We also have Yasmine Meziane. I hope I pronounced correctly.
Almost.
She's a senior digital communications officer here at PwC Luxembourg, and she has been in charge of maintaining our online presence and fostering the UX within our internal and external visibility of the communications department.
Wow. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Well, pretty well. I'm still full of Easter chocolate.
Yes.
It's fine.
Great. So let's start. Well, besides the job titles that we just mentioned, you both have another role within the firm. You are part of a UX community. So that's actually the reason why you are here with us today. And I'm sure our listeners are wondering, what is the UX community about?
So if I may start, for me, the UX community is my third space. I don't know if you know the concept of spaces by the theorist Homi Bhabha. He is recognizing the three different spaces. One is the first one, which is your home. So you're a mother, you're a partner, you take care of your family. The second space is your work, where you perform, you're loyal, you're a friend with your colleagues. And there is sort of a hybrid space.
I'm sorry, I'm just seeing a bunny outside. Do you see it?
Oh, there's a bunny there. It's true. And it's not the chocolate
yes,
one.
I can see
It's really
I'm sorry for interrupting, but it's like, am I seeing things? Is this a Easter?
Yes. It's Easter bunny. It's real.
So survive the Easter.
It's a she. Yeah.
Sorry. So you were talking about work, your second space?
Yes. And then there is also a third space, which is a hybrid space where you as an individual can experience a transformative sense of self, of your identity and your relations to others. So for me, this third space is the community where we rejoice, re-energize, and revive. So where we can maybe create our own identity, which might be different from the two spaces.
Communities have always been around, but why are they so important right now? Like, because I've seen a lot of talk about the community online and social media and so on, and now we've got our very own UX community. So why now? What has changed for it to become so important?
But I think we realize that we have several professionals that were split into different services, but didn't communicate with each other before. So we used to work by our own, working basically in silos, and we didn't have a space to share, to exchange, to communicate about our own project, to exchange about our view about the practice, to exchange about use cases. So the UX community is also about that, is to exchange more about our daily work, to exchange best practices, to exchange our experiences, and to learn from each other as well.
Yeah. To meet on regular basis, to enrich each other, to basically have a friends with the common issues, working on similar projects, or even the same projects that we sometimes find out that we are all engaged in some way in the project. And if we are not talking within the community, we would probably not know. So like this, we can create some synergies. We can maybe create some strategy as a design team, how to tackle different projects.
Yeah, and I guess just for our listeners, it would be important to mention that we have 4 UX teams, in fact. So they're split across different departments, and some of them are more technology focused. Some of them are more focused on designing, facilitating workshops. Some of them are focused really on large transformation projects. And some of them are focused on trying to combine all of that into different advisory engagements, for example. So but from what I hear, the purpose of the community is really to bring all of those people, to break down the silos that exist within the departments, and to share the knowledge, and also to work together on different projects to leverage the different skills, technical or soft skills that you might have. So in this community, what are your roles?
So several roles. So one of the roles is to represent one of the line of services that you are working on. So today I'm working in the marketing and communication department. So I represent, as you mentioned, Armin, at the beginning. So we are managing the online presence. So which means that we are managing the experience of our website, we're on social media, but customer experience as well. What about you, Veronika?
So I'm representing advisory team. We work mostly on the client projects. So I am an active member, but also we created a sort of champions of the community who are accompanying the leader of the community, who is Sylvain Legac, the father of the community of
Tribute
this one.
to him.
Yes.
I think we will talk about him later on as well. Okay. And we would like to know more what led you to become part of this UX community. What is the story behind?
Once upon a time.
Yes.
Actually, and also we can mention Sylvain again. He used to create an initiative few years ago to gather some UX designer around some events. But then several events happened. COVID can be one of them. And then we talked to each other. I knew, for example, Sylvain for a long time ago. Veronika, I know you thanks to the community as well. So then we needed some representatives for each line of services, and that's it.
Long story short.
For me, I have been part of the Luxembourg design thinking community, which is more on the country level. I was also for a certain period of time a co-organizer of the community events. And I had the pleasure to meet some of the PwC designers like Armin before I joined PwC. So when I joined in July 2019, it was natural for me to look around to see if there is some community existing. And then I was finally invited for a UX apéro. And then I was honored to receive, to take over the UX champion from another colleague who was leaving the company. So I could be part of the more like a leaders team.
So our roles is not limited to be part of the community itself, but it's also to raise awareness around your user experience topic, because from my experience, the user experience has always been not considered in a project for when you involve actually users. So it is also part of our work and the community's work to raise awareness around this kind of topic to people, to make them consider UX more in a project or in service design, as you mentioned.
It's true. I think that this wasn't so much in the minds of people, of businesses before, but also with the pandemic, this changed, because we started hearing a lot about UX everywhere with the pandemic. At least that's my perception as someone a bit outsider.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah. I don't know, in the news and articles, thought leadership, UX was everywhere. That is my perception, at least.
And if I just may, it's not only about the UX, which is user experience, but it's the whole concept of people centricity, human centricity, whether it's a client, it's an employee, it's a user, whoever it is, we try to put, so the UX is following the design thinking methodology, which is putting this human in the center of the activity. So that's why we internally call it UX, but maybe just for clarification.
The market has taken the term UX just as an umbrella term for everything.
That's true.
Like human-centered design, people-centric, whatever it is, they just, even UI, it's just under the umbrella of the UX. But if we take a step back and if we focus on the wider picture, why should organizations seek to create the community-based structures in the workplace, according to your opinion and based on what you've seen?
I believe that community, from that also the word suggests, is having something in common. The community creates belonging, and belonging can motivate people to improve their performance and their dedication to different topics, the topics they care about. It's about taking control and the responsibility for the futures, to change the future maybe as a group, because as an individuals, we might not be as strong as when we are part of the group of like-minded people who want to make some mark or bring something to the organization. So I think it is crucial for companies to support building these communities for people, to break the silos, as we already mentioned, to bring different levels of functions within one group, so that I think it's about, creating the positive change and maybe looking at different hierarchical structure all of a sudden to do something for the good of all of us.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. It's not something that's actually driven by anybody in particular, even though Silvan is kind of a coordinator of the group, but it's not something, there is no formal structure which imposes anything or takes any decision. It's really led by the people for the people of the so we've had interesting projects inside the community that originated from the members, and everybody was happy to come and pitch in and create something positive for future benefit of all of the members of the group.
And we still do it.
Yeah.
We are hoping to win a project, at least internally, as a designer team, because we all have different superpowers, we all have different expertise, and we are hoping to have an internal project where we can leverage from these superpowers and put different designer into different stages of the design process, and to showcase, what we are capable of.
That's very good. And I liked what you said about superpowers, because you talked as well about your own superpowers. What other roles exist in the community?
So we have the facilitator who help us to be better knowledgeable about how to facilitate a workshop, how to get the participants to some idea, to co-creation and so on. We have the UX champion, as Veronika and and I are part of, of the UX champions. We have 3 of us. No, 2.
We have 4 champions.
Yeah, we have 4 champions.
Yes.
And we also have other communities member, which is not champion, but also part of in different roles, in different area, advisory, IT, and communication. And as you said, Veronika, I mean, everybody brings their own experience. So we have Marion, who's working in the Experience Center, who brings a very good creativity.
And the design playbook.
And the design playbook as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what is the design playbook?
It's a tool that aggregates all the methods, all the tools. It brings together the overview of the designers, their expertise, different teams. So it's really like almost a founding document for our community. So it was set up almost at the same time when the more structuralization of the community was happening. So that's an important document that Marion and Sylvain did together.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
So it's basically a document whenever somebody wants to start a project internally and they would like to see how they can make it more people-centric, so they can make it more client-centric or employee-centric, or all of the above.
It's an aggregation of documents, actually, of method, of best practices. And, well, sometimes, I mean, if we used to be in 3 years or 4 years ago, we were on our own, so we were looking for some method by our own, and we were inventing the wheel every time. So now with this kind of resources, so we take advantage of what has already been done before, what was successful before. So this is basically a tool, a space to make us more developed, more improved in a way.
It's a living document, so it's open for any additional materials that we want to share. New members who are going to join the team.
Oh, nice. And is it for the entire firm? Could it be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's public.
Okay. Great. The next obvious question is, based on your experience, how does one create a thematic community? Because it doesn't have to be only a UX community. Could be
any kind of community.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually.
So, from your experience, do you have what did you learn? How do you go about it?
So I think first we need to connect the right people with the same interests. So you need to rely as well on people who likes to communicate, who likes to exchange, who like to being vocal about their work. So if you first create some key ambassador at the beginning, that will help you definitely to relay the message, the action that you want to have in this community, the goals, the purpose as well. For me, it's really key at the beginning to define this kind of people. As we have the UX champions today, that will help you to develop the community on the medium and long term. One of the thing as well to consider is to create a space where people can communicate, can exchange resources, best practices, and just some casual messages. You know, it just need to be full serious. Sometimes you can just exchange jokes or gifs or memes. I don't know. So I think a community is a mix of this kind of thing, of serious professional things, but also to work, you need to engage people with casual content which they can interact and being recognized too.
If I may add, it's also important to set up a shared vision, shared goals, shared purpose for the firm. So how the firm is going to benefit from having such community, whatever purpose of the community is there. I think for people to be motivated to come together, to always kind of have this glue that
exactly.
keeps them together.
Makes
a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Community. Community. Sense of community.
I guess the challenge of the UX community is as well, as it matures more in the company, it's to spread that way of thinking through the rest of the functions inside the company. Because initially, when we started as UX designers in this company, was something like 5 years ago when we started to have first UX designers. And in these 5 years, we really matured as a community. And now the idea is not only to be present in some of the key projects to make sure that they are customer-centric, for example, but now it's about spreading that mindset to all other people in the company.
Exactly.
So that whenever they do any kind of a project, whether it's an audit of a real estate fund, or if it's a tax return, or if it's an ERP transformation or so on. It's important in all of those cases to be customer-centric. And that's where I think the community, with the playbook that you've designed, has opened the door and made it very accessible and easy for everyone to start their UX journey.
I wish your words were true. I wish the playbook reaches everyone and that people start recognizing the value of user centricity, why we should include people who we are designing for in the process. I mean, to understand that there is significant saving in cost when you design something people want. And you design it in a way people want to use it, rather than designing what you think it's good for them. Exactly. And then all of a sudden ending up with the product that is useless and that's put on the shelf. So we can't stress enough the value. I mean, we are believers in the UX, so of course we will see only positive sides of it. I believe there's no 100% cases where UX should be applied, but in majority of what we do at PwC, I think it should be a consideration.
Totally.
So your goal is also to change people's mindsets.
Yes. This is the most difficult part, I think.
I guess that's one of the challenges you need to solve.
For sure. But as you say, we are believers, so we believe that we will do the change.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Exactly.
Armin, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, so what about governance? We wanted to ask you about this because, as we said, it's a self-organizing community. What does it mean in practice? How do you keep everything in check? And how do you keep people engaged over a long run?
So we have a weekly meeting with the UX champion when we discuss about the upcoming topic, upcoming event, new initiatives. This is also where we discuss, for example, this kind of project for the podcast, where who goes where, who writes what. So we already have a blog article. Now we have a podcast. I mentioned Marion. She also wrote an article about the design playbook. So we try to have some kind of planning, a schedule to have perpetual or regular presence around the UX community internally and externally.
Very well organized.
Yes, we are.
We also have monthly UX talks where all the 18 designers who are currently present at PwC in the 4 departments that we mentioned, who can join and participate and just contribute with sharing their project, sharing the past experience during the conference or an upcoming event happening. Like for the moment, we are discussing the FLUPA event happening in Paris, who should go why, and so on. So we meet really on regular basis with this community twice a month. Well, once as champions, or a couple, 5 times a month.
5 times a month.
4 times as champions and 1 time as a community. And then we also have a chat room on Google called LUX Design Room. And we have 160 members.
Wow.
So it opened for the whole firm. So there are practitioners, enthusiasts, but also people who
Curious.
are new, curious, yes, and new to the topic who want to explore.
I have to say, I'm in that chat room.
Yes,
As a curious person.
It's fine. I mean, this is actually what we want to achieve. I mean, you don't have to be a UX designer or to work within UX to be part of the UX community, because as you mentioned, Armin, for us, it should be part of now all the initiative, and this is what we want to evangelize. We are evangelizer. I don't know if it's the right word, but anyway, I mean, for
You want to convert people? Is that what you're saying, Yasmine?
in a way.
yes.
Is this a cult or a community?
Just a community.
Wow.
Oh my God.
No, but I think it's very good, like someone like you join this community and see our project or our content and interact with them.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. But Armin asked, how do you keep people engaged? And I would like to stress this one because I think it's important. Do you have events? Do you share content? How do you keep people who, like me, for instance, curious people engaged?
So for me, one of the basic rules to keep people engaged in a community is to provide them with regular content. If your community is not active, or if your communication feed is not active on a regular basis, well, people will not engage with you, and they will forget about you. So I think it's important to us, and it's still a work in doing that. We will post a regular content into a different communication feed for people to know about our content. So we have a podcast, we have a blog, we have that, we have this. So it's important that we keep the community active by communicate about our content and initiatives.
And we have prepared and worked hard to organize an event, which I can promote now. I think it will be after even when the podcast is on.
Not sure, but
it's this Thursday.
Aha, so no.
So the event was great.
Yes, a lot of fun.
Yeah, we enjoyed the design-based exercises where curious people could try design methods and tools. We had a lot of fun with the case studies that our people presented during the event, and of course the drinks and little snack to network, to exchange, and to strengthen the community.
Yes, and our goal is to have this kind of event on a regular basis, sometimes with new speakers, sometimes can be with external speaker who can join the event. Now with the COVID rules starting to be less strict, we hope that we'll be able to do this kind of session more often.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Never again. Yeah, that's true. But actually, I want to go back because we mentioned Sylvain and Marion, but we never really told the story, or you didn't tell the story of how it all started. Who decided to start this community?
So there is a document called Genesis that Sylvain wrote. So if I may...
Ooh. Are you sure you're not part of a cult?
Well, probably we should ask Sylvain what plans he has for us. So if I may, just a few words from there. The idea of grouping all designers at PwC was in Sylvain's head for a long time. But there were several attempts to organize an event, to meet up. And actually, he managed to organize a drink in Irish pub with all the designers just to exchange a very informal event. But unfortunately, the COVID reached Luxembourg as well. It was in early 2020, so he had to cancel. So it could have been the first event and maybe the starting point of the community, but the unexpected events happened. But Sylvain didn't want to stay there just looking at this failure And with the rise of the video calls, of course, forced by this COVID virus, he wanted to replicate the idea, but put it remotely. So he set up UX Apéro Visio. That's some of you
I remember.
have
I think
joined.
we were in confinement back then.
Yes. And basically the rules of this apéro was simple, just regrouping all together with a drink of your choice in an after work hours. And how he calls it, or how he says, talk about our fancy life of designers.
Wow.
So of course people enjoyed it because, we have something in common, we chat, we laugh. So this is when the real community creation started. It was in June 2020, when Sylvain and Marion, as we already mentioned, these two building and working on the design playbook. So this is when they started working on it. But also Sylvain at the same time put more structure into the community. So he nominated 4 champions. He was obviously the leader because he has this sense of ownership. And he is I think he's a great person to manage the community, because he always says, it's not my community. I'm just here to, do a little organization, but it's ours. So I think this is how it should be. And then, of course, launching the more regular UX talks, or working on building the structures, the websites, chat rooms on Google.
It's the right communication channel, because back then we had nothing, so we had to build everything from scratch.
Yes, exactly. So that's how it started, and it continues to grow.
Very good.
It was nice to remember the origins of the community
The
and those days.
And the guru, which was
Yes.
Sylvain.
What I really liked about those events was that every time there would be a designer that would kind of impromptu bring their own project that they're working on, and they would present the process or some of the outputs that they are creating, and it would be open for everybody to pitch in and to actually provide their constructive critique on the work, or just the words of support. And I think that was much needed in that context. And what I really like that came out of it as well is later there was a change now that before it was very common that you had one UX designer per project, right? And what changed was that now more and more we have people working in pairs. So you would have 2 UX designers on 2 projects rather than 1 UX designer on 1 project. Because that really allows the UX designers to kind of cross-pollinate and share the ideas and be able to critique each other and so on. Because if you're just one kind of a profile on that project, you don't get that chance to get the critique. And in design, that's very important. Constructive feedback is something that we really actively seek out, because that's, I think, what UX is all about. It's asking the right question and finding the right answer. And you cannot find the right answer if somebody is not challenging you on the question.
Yeah,
Are you
that's
asking
true.
the right question?
And I think also that we don't have skills. So in the UX, you have different skills. There is a UX strategist, UX researcher, UX designer, UI designer, more front-end developers. And in small organizations, often it's one person who is who the organization believes he can do everything. But we recognize that we all have sort of specific, we are experts in the field within the UX. And I think it's hard also for the UX designer to be responsible to deliver superb results from every single part of the project. So that's why it's very valuable for us to have this community and to know that I can work with Yasmine, who is more in the UI and front end. I would be more in the UX research phase or UX strategy. And then like this, we create a great team and we can deliver a really awesome project together, which is quality, and of course adding the benefit of what you said, the
cross-pollination.
and
That's a great word.
Is it a real word?
It is. Only consultants use it.
And also critiquing, like she can still critique my work even though she might not be expert in the UX research, and I can still critique her UI work even though I might not have the years of experience. So I think there are benefits in
and
being
for me, this is the main added value of the community, is to exchange our view, to learn from each other, and all in this collaborative way. I mean, there is no judgment. We are all working for the same project, and we want it to be successful, and we will do everything for it to achieve.
That's really great. Do you have any words of wisdom? I mean, what you wish you had known before starting the community? Any do's and don'ts?
It takes time. It's true that it takes time. I mean, at the beginning to structure everything, to find the right communication channels. We started one communication channel on another space that didn't work, and we didn't achieve to engage people within that space, because we realized that we have two spaces of communication at the same time, and we thought that, I mean, it's better to have only one. So one advice for me is to really choose carefully your communication channel. Bet on one people are already using on a regular basis, and for which they know how to connect, how to interact, and so on.
And I think for me, the advice could be not to hesitate to create a community. It's always a good idea to bring people together, to let them have a communication channel to exchange, to let them meet each other, and to maybe build something new together. So if someone has a hesitation that, maybe it's not going to work, it's not going to fly, I think it's worth trying.
It's worth to try, because people build on each other's idea, and then once you have the momentum, it's sometimes becomes unstoppable. But of course, the challenge is to maintain it over the long run, and something I think we touched upon earlier before. But what about soft skills? What are the soft skills that members of a community should have?
Motivation. No, it's not really a soft. Is it a soft skill?
Enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm,
Yes.
exactly.
Enthusiasm, yes.
Communication skill for sure.
Creativity, teamwork.
Curiosity.
Also consensus building, because everything that community has ever done was always based on a consensus. It's probably,
that's
I think, something important.
Very important, yes, because you have to find... I'm sure everyone has a lot of ideas, so you need to find a compromise as well. So...
We live in a democracy, for sure. We listen to everyone's voices.
And that's really great. So we are moving forward to the last questions. What is the next step or steps for your community? What does the future hold? Where do you want to go?
Everywhere. No, for sure. I think one of the things will be to organize events on a more regular basis, to invite other people from the firm, not only UX enthusiastic, but also our leaders, our partners, to be more aware about the topic and the practice. Could be as well a good opportunity to invite, as I mentioned, external speaker from a different company who has also this mindset in their daily work. What could be as well as the next step? To engage more people.
Yes, exactly. To keep it alive.
To keep it alive.
Very important.
Convert more people.
Perfect. Do you want to take the last one, Armin?
Sure. Any last tips, comments, or message to our listeners?
Be courageous. Be curious.
Be curious.
Look around your workspace to see what could be done to connect with colleagues on another level, to create the third space for you, for your peers, for your organization. Don't
be shy. I mean, if you go to your coffee corner space, or if you go to your canteen, maybe you will find new people who share the same interest than you, the same passion, and sometimes it could be a good way to start some initiative. Like that.
So you are converting people, Yasmine.
No.
You are going to our canteen and come join our community.
There were literally flyers that were posted, and it was the first time I saw a flyer posted somewhere. It was like a UX community event, and I'm like, okay.
We want to lead by example, and we are hoping this is a good example.
It is a very nice example, and I don't have any other questions. Do you?
No, I think it was a very thought-provoking discussion that we had around how to create a community, how to sustain a community, what's its purpose, and so on. But I really like how you managed to bring all of these people from different departments and make them work together across these departments and really be focused on fostering this discipline inside the company and outside of the company. I think that's something more of what I would like to see as well with some of the other functions that we maybe have inside the firm or that our clients have. It's just bringing people together for a common purpose and letting them do the work that they enjoy.
And cross-pollinate.
Cross-pollination, yes.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks to you.
And see you around for sure.
Of course, we continue Carla to be active in the community as you, Almin.
I'm just a sidekick, Carla's sidekick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye. And that's all for today. This is TechTalk, technology made simple over a cup of coffee. Thank you for listening, and until the next episode.